Well, hello, you beautiful biscuits. Welcome to BREADBOX, a show where two friends break down RPGs, games, and more. I'm your host, Serious Sandy Shortbread Jr. Fun facts, fun fact about me, I smell very strongly of lemon zest because I was just baking and had to zest a lemon, which I have not done in probably about 5 years.
And I'm your guest, Darcy Driver. Fun fact, I smell strongly of wood fire right now because my wife and I just had a fire outside of our house. It's our Christmas tree. I know it's like the middle of October, late October, early October almost. By the time this airs, it's going to be October. And we're just now getting rid of our Christmas tree.
Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Starting to, slowly.
I know we got our first frost this morning. That was crazy. I go outside and like, oh, I left the ice scraper in your car if you need it. I go out to my car, and because she leaves for work so much earlier than me, my car was just covered in water. Hers was covered in frost. So
Mm.
I got lucky.
Yep. All right. Today we have some D&D homebrew for 5th edition that we are looking at. We scoured D&D Beyond for the hottest, worst, best homebrew. We don't know. You decide.
So to be fair, Sandy scoured. I'm just here reacting, reviewing, and telling them why it's good, why it's bad, why it's crazy, why it should or shouldn't work.
All right, Darcy. I have sent to you the first homebrew.
A bacterial anomaly. Your early years were spent racked by intense plague. Oh, they got the Rona. For you to miraculously survive the ordeal. Since then, you have lived in near perfect health. Ooh, lucky for them. Have become a fascinating target of study for many of the realm's greatest minds. I'm going to skip over some of the flavor text and get down to some of the what does it do? Skill proficiencies, medicine, and insight. I'm assuming it gives you those.
Yes.
Languages, you have choice of Elvish or Draconic. Interesting. I don't know how they're arriving at like those two as languages that it would give you thematically. Like, oh, is this a dragon fungus? Is that what they're going for? We can revisit that later.
Yes.
Equipment. Oh, is this meant to be your starting class?
No, this is your background.
This is your background. Okay. Okay, yeah, because I know like criminal and stuff gives you stuff for your background that you start with for equipment. And I know some backgrounds give you languages and stuff. Can be super useful. Gives you equipment, common clothes, a backpack, personal journal, and a pouch containing 5 gold pieces. I don't know why they specify common clothes. Every class starts with common clothes. Seems a bit like excessive to specify. Feature medical anomaly. Due to a rare affliction, or really lack of affliction, you are the target of massive interest among academics, physicians, religious leaders, and other sages. High standing. When you encounter those of this profession, they may immediately take interest in you, or may already be interested in you, possibly having heard of your case from a colleague. This can lead to provided shelter, meals, and or favors in exchange for occasional tests for their research. It's funny, this reminds me of our good friend Ashnod, who is the Dragonborn in our adventure that we were playing, because one of the people who is a potion maker, because Dragonborn, like traditional D&D Dragonborn, not in our setting, the people will come up to him as a fascination and like want a scale, want a bit of his hair or something. So
Yeah.
I know already, having experienced that in other games, what that can lead to. And this kind of is like reminiscent of, like, for instance, the hometown hero. What's it called? I forget the actual name of the archetype offhand, but the
For the folk hero?
folk hero. That's the one. So this really reminds me of like folk hero because you can easily get shelter just in any town, just because there's a chance people may have heard of you. If certain researchers are more than just curious, however, they may find other, more persuasive ways of keeping you around to experiment on. Additionally, due to your mysterious condition, you are immune to disease. That's fun. Seldom comes up in campaigns.
Yes.
So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that so far?
Yes, I would say this isn't a bad homebrew, actually quite a fun homebrew. May not have many interesting things mechanically, but like you were saying, gives a lot of good benefits for just decent role play. And how do I put it? It gives a good arc for a character of having people who are
Mhm.
actively pursuing him, but also not making him like, oh, I'm the main character of the whole campaign, like syndrome that I think sometimes all of us, when we make our D&D characters, maybe sometimes fall into that trap.
Yeah, like I said, disease is kind of a nice immunity. There's not a lot of stuff that will inflict that on a character. But it's still not bad so far. Suggested characteristics. This is when it generally gets interesting. Uh, Abacterial anomalies are shaped by their experiences from years of testing and experiments inside of laboratories. They are typically mistrusting of academic figures that may seek to use them for their own gain, although abacterial anomalies may seek answers to their mysterious condition and be curious enough to seek answers in places they would not have ventured otherwise. So what we have for personality trait options. Researchers were always asking me questions I don't like answering anymore. I picked up certain sayings from the lab, and I quote or misquote famous academics in certain situations. I can see that being fun.
Mhm.
Like I know when I play like a bard, for instance, I pick and choose like bits of poetry, and I will then take that and I'll have like use that as my bardic inspiration. I'll read off like a little snippet of Shakespeare or tweak something that's in Chaucer and just blah, there you go. Or cutting words. Cutting words is when it gets really fun because you can take that like Shakespearean insult generator.
Yeah.
The real world is fascinating, and I want to learn everything about it. Uh, that's a really good characteristic to give a character, just in general, because I know a lot of D&D players when they first start they don't create adventurers. They're just, oh, I'm here to kill monsters and get loot. No, you need to have an actual like driving factor.
Why are you here?
I feel like I'm dominating reading this. Here, we can take turns. You read the next ones.
I can't tell anyone about my past.
That okay. I have to interject. That's terrible. That's that can shut down so many good role playing situations where you get to dive into character's path. Be like, oh, I'm playing an edgy character, so I'm all introspective and don't talk to anybody. No, that's a terrible thing to have in a D&D game.
That's very true.
Oh, I'm not cocky, just confident. They only call me arrogant because they're jealous of my gifts.
Yeah, that's like that would be the characteristic if that was like a or personality trait if it was like a bard or a rogue, I feel like.
Yeah, and I know when I have my players like role characteristics, I say it's like when it comes to important decisions, you flip a coin, and that can tell you how you feel about that decision if you're pleased or displeased with the outcome. And that's kind of how I treat this with my players generally when I have them roll background characteristics. Like, okay, did you like that one? Okay, no, well then that's fine. Roll a different one or just tweak it a little.
I've been provided for in a lab most of my life. Finding for myself is a challenge. So this is the lab welfare, baby. Okay.
Yeah,
You could either have it either way. You could have like really good survival skill because you survived. You were like the one survivor of the Black Death. Or
yeah.
just to have it be the complete opposite depending on how you and your GM work it out, where it's like you're completely awful just because you've been in a lab.
Yeah, I feel like that can also influence, like, if you wanted to dump charisma, this gives you a really solid role playing reason.
Yep. We encourage dump statting here. BREADBOX. All right. We kind of covered number 8 already in that last one. Let's move on to the ideals.
Yeah. Well, for those who are listening, not reading along, I've spent so long in the lab that I have little practical experience dealing with people in the outside world.
All right. Suffering. Those who experimented on me showed me I was a monster. All will regret what they made me.
So this is the vengeance drive, essentially.
Yes, basically, yeah, just Wolverine, I guess, gone bad.
Yeah, yeah, like getting out and going for Striker, being like, "Yep, you experimented on me. That was not cool, bro. Now I'm gonna kill you."
Mm-hmm.
On to the next one.
Yes, sir. Sorry, choking on a muffin.
You're not eating shortbread? What gives, bro? Andy,
Yeah, I'm betraying my own
putting it
kind.
down.
Having an affair with a muffin.
So donation. I have gifts that can help others. If I can find a way to share it with them. I don't see how that particularly relates to the overall arc besides like trying to use your immunity to help them research a cure or a vaccine or something for other diseases. This is really like setting specific if you're going to try and like share your gift with them.
That pretty much pushes you into the arms of every like wizard you find that
Yeah,
wants to, and basically means, oh yeah, I have to.
yeah. Freedom is the next one. Just I will never be experimented on again. I got out and I'm never going back. Well, this is a chaotic drive, and that's in parentheses. But again, this is like more forceful and like helping people, helping others in the way that you can. Most most characters that are playing a good character will generally do that. The never being experimented on again and never going back. It's good because you can play that in so many different ways.
It's very true. Or even just different moments where how your character would react to certain people, like say if your party encountered a sorcerer that was interested in you, that would change the entire, I guess, party dynamic of how it was approached, because we'd have one party member that was extremely standoffish.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, like just encounters with city guard in any setting, they might just outright run, like just because they don't want to get, even if they're completely innocent, they might just have this paranoia about anyone who's holding shackles or anyone who has the potential to restrain them.
Lovely town guard, my favorite. Next up, we have power. My gifts are a good start, and with them, I can become even greater. And this is a more lawful motivation.
Yeah, this to become greater and gain greater power. I mean, you could even play that off as chaotic. I mean, it might be someone who's trying to get influence for the sake of self gain, but also to potentially like erase their past and make everyone forget. Oh, I'm also this weird anomaly.
It's true. Actually, I was going to ask you, and I know we're not at the end yet, but I was going to ask you, what class do you think this would pair really well with?
I so because it gives that extra language, it's really versatile. Having medicine really leaves itself to someone who's going to be there on the front line with the damage takers to be able to make those quick medicine checks to stabilize people. Insight's really great in roleplay, regardless of what class you are, but that would give some like good Inquisitor Rogue stuff, some good. There's so many nice pairings because this is overall, I think, just a neutral thing.
It's very true. It could go a lot of different directions, which is kind of what building blocks were given in D&D is supposed to do. It's supposed to be something that we could play maybe multiple different times and still have fun.
I know Rogue, a lot of these like character motivations thing Rogue to me. Like you said, Bard's a really good pick. There's really no particularly bad option. It would be funny to pair this with like from Guildmaster's Guide, the druid, that the Circle of Spores druid, because you could have that I'm immune to disease and give that also this character background of why you're a Circle of Spores druid. That would be a really fun role playing situation, but I'm pretty sure that would be redundant because I'm quite sure that gives you to start off with, like immunity to disease.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does too. All right. For the flaws, I think my favorite flaw was can be too overconfident in dangerous situations simply because of my condition. Where I think that what that more means is because they overcame their condition, they've just kind of got this. Oh, I'm unbreakable. I can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that overconfidence does usually tend to play into chaotic characters, and it's something that maybe for new players is something that's a little bit easier to role play than some of the just more subtle things that people who've been playing the game longer tend to pick up on.
Yeah, another one that stands out for me is the suspicious of strangers, because that can be really easy to play. Like going back to that town guard scenario,
Mm.
there's I don't want to get restrained. It goes back to that bond and that ideal of I want to be free, and so they would just be innately avoiding strangers and always expecting the worst of people. That can be hard, particularly for a new player when you're trying to form a party. But if you want to set up party dynamics beforehand, that could work. I mean, it's just a better reason to tie your party tighter if they're suspicious of strangers, but they know the other three members of the party really well. What do you have next?
All right, my friend. We have another background. It is and we should have mentioned it beforehand, but that a bacterial anomaly was made by Caden. For Caden's credit.
Alcoholic.
Yes, we've got
Oh, fun.
alcoholic from mildly dislike cilantro. I mildly dislike cilantro. Vice of alcohol holds a tight grip on your heart, as well as your liver, for some reason or for another. Maybe some past trauma has caused you to turn to fermented fruits and grains as a solace and a way to cope, no matter how poor it may be. Maybe you enjoy the flavor to the point that you would do anything for a single drop of the bitterest tasting substance. You will do anything to continue living your life through beer goggles, and it has led you to desperate measures. Be it a life of crime or brewing your own alcohol in the privacy of your own home, it's plain to see that your life has spiraled out of control, and many people have suggested that you get help. You've turned to adventuring, to turn over a new leaf, and to get a fresh start. Or maybe it's to seek more gold to feed your alcoholism.
Let's just open this up right off the bat. This screams drunken master monk.
Yeah.
Just go monk, go drunken master. There you go. There's your character. If you want to be basic about it.
It's true.
Oh, that's so reductive, but
You could play like an old washed up paladin or something and have very good times with this.
yeah. So skill proficiencies, it gives you sleight of hand and medicine. Not bad. Good for monks, good for rogues. Sleight of hands, generally more rogue thing, but I know I do this with my bard all the time too. I always give them sleight of hand because it's fun. It can be fun in role playing. Brewer's tools and or thieves tools for your tool proficiency totally makes sense. Again, it's leaning towards that rogue. But brewer's tools if you want to make your own alcohol. Equipment, it even gives you your own favorite alcohol.
Sure.
A memento of your life before alcohol. It would be funny to like reflavor that and have it be like your player's AA chip because he's getting help.
Ooh, covering alcohol.
Yeah. Drink of choice. Well, you will drink any alcohol if need be. Of course, you have your favorite drink, and then it's got a chart with 1d6 of beer, wine, rum, mead, brandy, scotch. I don't know too many fantasy settings that we carry like scotch or brandy.
Yeah.
I know I always say like rum, mead, beer, and that's basically it.
Guess they could have other drinks. It's just outside the norm for your normal fantasy setting, but no, you do you. Drink responsibly in your made up fantasy role playing games.
Feature temperance. Having already struggled through addiction in the past, you know how to identify signs of addiction. You are better equipped to quit other addictions or help others through their addictions. Your demeanor after giving up alcohol may also affect the way different people interact with you. Again, it'd be really cool to play this as a recovered alcoholic.
True.
And like even with that, have the role playing. He joins a party which is a bunch of carousers and is like trying to help them reform.
That could almost even be like a good, like almost older character, maybe like a cleric, an older cleric, just kind of coming alongside and trying to shepherd everyone till the light of soberism. But yeah.
And we're just going to pick and choose personality traits,
Yeah.
Our favorites. I'll let you go first because I'm still reading through.
All right. I like number 5 for this one, for the personality traits, where it says, I find the scent of alcohol to be revolting, but I still find myself drawn to it. Like, just the idea of someone could be still, like, disgusted by something, but still, like, those inner desires of the body just being like, nope, gotta have it.
Mm-hmm. I hate confrontation about my problematic behavior.
That could initiate some good PvP.
You mean role playing? Role play.
Role play with swords.
Aggressive negotiations. So ideals. The evil ones are always going to be fun, so I'm just going to read it. Self-serving. Nobody helped me, so why should I help them? Pretty basic. I mean, that's most basic ideals of self-centeredness.
Number 3 seems like one that would probably be an easy choice, and I would say that we had somebody in a party of ours in one of our games that pretty much played this to a T. It's drinking. I don't care about much else other than the alcohol.
Yeah, to the point where he was drinking cursed alcohol even after he knew it was cursed.
It was turning him, into scary things.
Yep. Hedonism. If something's good, why shouldn't I pursue it? That's a good character ideal in general, because that also gives you like that get stuff, spend stuff, make stuff, have those fun experiences for your like reason for adventuring. It's a very solid, quick, easy. I'm out adventuring because it's fun and because I'm gonna get as much carousing and partying done, and also slay some monsters.
Very true. All the hero and the glory, but also all the alcohol and the drink. Interesting bond we have here. I've sequestered myself away to avoid alcohol. This person, I feel like this one would be almost counterintuitive to a person who's an adventurer, unless basically whenever the party goes to stay at a tavern, they just lock themselves away.
Yeah, I know in one of the campaigns I'm running right now, we're running ice through Icefire, and the rest of the party went to the tavern, and the barbarian, instead of going into the tavern, stayed on the outskirts of town in one of the abandoned buildings, set up a fire, made camp, and just him and his wolf were out there by themselves. So it depends on how you play that. There's, again, that balance that has to be struck, because you can play that bond as a reason to not adventure, but also as a reason, like you're trying to get yourself away from society, but it's just you and this one friend on this adventure. Ooh, flaw. I use drinking as an excuse to be a terrible person. Again, we've had this in one of our games.
Yep. I think that anyone who chooses not to drink is a sanctimonious jerk. No, it's just they're putting their insecurities out onto others. I'm thinking the alcoholic might be a good person in the fight, but not always the most likable party member.
Yeah.
Give this a thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's okay. I liked the various like role play things that were from the person who was afflicted. This one I know a lot of people just do anyway, with their characters who like to drink. They just like it becomes a thing, even though it's not one of their character flaws, traits, bonds. It's just and also I like to drink a lot. So like it doesn't have any particularly strong roleplay benefits, doesn't have any particularly strong downside. It's
We'll move on to our next one, a new category in the homebrew. We have a feat.
Ooh.
It's 10 toes. Edimus Maximus. Hmm. I'm
Hey,
sorry
where
if I
does
butcher this, but Albumo 45.
Bulma? ABLMO45. So, Epidemius Maximus. Prerequisite strength 13 or higher. You've developed the skill necessary to hold your own in yeeting people across the room. You gain the following benefit. You have advantage on attack rolls against the creature you're yeeting. You can use this action to throw someone with expert precision, dealing an extra 2d8 damage when hitting someone into another.
You, the yeet sound effect.
So, right off the bat here, I see a couple of issues. Prerequisite strength of 13, that's whatever. But it doesn't specify a range. I know it's always hard to uh, DM things when your characters want to do cool actions. I I like in my own head have a rough idea of depending on the character's strength how far I would let them throw someone. Like uh, the shove action, for instance, it's like 5 feet. So if you're if you took the yeet feet, that's what I'm going to call it now, the yeet feet. So if you took this, I can see you're like encountering issues if you don't already discuss with your player, like depending on your size rating and the enemy's size rating, this is how far you'll be able to throw them. Because I know I've told you the story of Stumpy, but I will tell our listeners. So I let one of my player characters in Fantasy Age have a ent, a small little ent, and his name was Stumpy. And we had an encounter where goblins were attacking a small village, and Stumpy picked up a goblin and threw him into another goblin. Rolled the effective, what is effectively a nat 20 with straight sixes for Fantasy Age. So it generated 6 stunt points. Uh, and so he threw the goblin into another goblin, and because their health pool is fairly low, the one who it hit, I rolled their damage individually. That one died, and the one that was yeeted was still survived, and so he used it on his next turn to kill another goblin. It's really fun and funny, but I can see this like having some issues if you don't set expectation.
I think that, as you were saying, as far as the measurement and it not be giving a range, I would say that this is probably more of the designer's point of view. This guy who put a lot of play testing and design into this feat, the yeet feat, probably would work better with theater of the mind combat than it would with normal battle mats that most, at least that our group normally uses instead of doing theater of the mind. But that there's a place for both. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it, but it's definitely vague. So that puts it more on the thumbs down side. Yeah. Like for me, if I was gonna almost like remake the Yeet feat, I would make it you do a grapple check. If you succeed the grapple check as like a free action, you can throw them into something, and it just does the 2d8 damage. But what you threw them into would have to be within a certain amount of feet.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that making a lot more sense. And the advantage on attack rolls against the creature you are eating, it seems like just throwaway text because it already says you're using your action to throw someone. And so that's its own action. Are you then having to like action surge to eat them, or are you? Oh, I get it now. They're skeet shooting. They're action surge skeet shooting.
Yep. Good for a fighter.
Yeah, for an action surging fighter who can essentially clay pigeon other enemies. I'm gonna give this a thumbs down.
Great. Well, thank you, Oblomo 45. I think I want my next fighter I play to be named Edimus Maximus, and we'll take a human fighter who will take this feat at level 1. All right.
Thanks for the laughs.
Yeah.
Definitely thanks for the laughs.
All right. Our next homebrew we have coming towards you. You are what you eat. by the Black Baron 45. Prerequisite: requires a strength score of at least 10 to consume a rock or other hard objects. The old saying goes, you are what you eat. People think this is a metaphor, but some may take this literally. If you eat something, you can turn your whole body into the same thing that you ate. Example, if you eat a rock, you can turn your whole body into stone. You'll still be able to walk, talk, etc.
Again, the vagueness makes this basically unplayable. If it was cosmetic benefits only, it could be fun to have at the table. But if you're letting your characters eat adamantine or eat steel and just be basically indestructible or have the hit points of whatever that object is, totally broken.
I don't think, honestly, that this would be something that would be able to be used like that, like where you could be. I think it is more just flavor. It's like that you have somebody that's just somehow magically cursed with. This would almost be a better like background. It's just like, oh, this person was eating cheesecake one day over at the pub, and then they just started to become walking cheesecake.
Like I could see this for a joke session if I gave the bad guy a curse that he was what he ate, and then the whole plot is them trying to sneakily feed him cake or like feed him something that will be easy to destroy instead of his full steel body. They're just like sneaking up behind him trying to shove cake into his mouth. Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna let this get balanced somehow and run it in my sessions, that's what I would do. Is if it was a creature that you could absorb some of their stats, characteristics, or something, like kind of what the reborn is for from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
Yeah, I'd say this is like a thumb in the middle. It's not up, it's not down, it's just sideways. I don't think it's great. But Black Baron 45, keep on dreaming, keep on making feats for us people to look at on D&D Beyond.
I'm sorry to go against you, Sandy. This one's a thumbs down. Like, aside from joke sessions, there's no way this is touching any of my games.
Everybody loves a good joke session. All right, for those one-shot people out there, I'm with you. All right, for our next one, I believe we have our last and final feat of the day. You first.
No, you can read it first.
Oh, you. All right, you change your.
No, for real, you first.
Okay, you change your initiative score on your turn, thus changing your position in the initiative queue. This feat must be used at the very beginning of your turn. Note, you'll only lose your turn on rounds that you change your initiative to be higher than your current initiative.
This is a very joke feat because you can do that anyway. You can hold your turn until after someone else is gone.
It's true.
It's in the rules already. So, I don't have more than 2 thumbs, so this is a 2 thumbs down for me.
Two thumbs down.
It's like someone read the rules as written, then said, "Oh, I'm just going to make that a feat." Why? Why?
Yep.
I mean, you can bump yourself up, but there's seldom ever a point in bumping yourself to the top of the initiative on your next turn and missing your entire turn.
Right, for this time we've got a magic item. It's a potion. We've got Zoop's Goodberry Wine. Wine made from fermented good berries and sand. Developed by pure accident by Zoop of the Wastelands, it's pure and potent enough to make an experienced drinker tipsy after merely a sip. It also functions as a surprisingly good explosive. This is made by Marvin the Janitor.
That's full description before I give any critique.
Full description?
That's the full description. There's no additional.
Yes, sir.
Again, right off the bat, not specifying those values. So I know as an experienced DM, depending on what level I give this to my characters at, the role playing bit of that, getting people immediately tipsy, never not fun. Just like I will routinely allow my players to eat random substances, and I'll decide on a whim, oh yeah, that's a hallucinogen that you just ate. Why would you do that? Or, oh, that's actually just a giant bottle of alcohol. So You're now a little bit tipsy if you fail that con save. So that bit of it, yes, good. Gets a solid thumbs up for the immediately drunk, never not funny in most roleplay scenarios at most tables. The other bit, also a good explosive, without further specifiers, uh, you're gonna have to be careful about how you balance that. It seems like a fun item. I can see this being something that a druid at my table would pick up and be like, "Oh, I want to make this." What are your thoughts?
I think this would be a good little thing to drop for your druid to have in the party, just if they have some good berries that hanging around that they didn't use or something, and or they run into somebody that teaches them how to make it. I think that would be kind of like a good, funny little side thing for a druid to do. But
So my brother is presently playing a druid in Icefire, so who knows? This might see some play. Let it be an explosive. I mean, one of my players already has the Thunder God's Blessing that he can cast Lightning Bolt 3 times. So, what's the harm in giving my druid an explosive?
all right,
What you got next?
here we are. If you see in the chat, we have 9th level transmutation spell, Zone of Mind. Casting time 1 hour. Range area self. Components none. Duration 1 round. Okay. School transmutation.
Teleports you into someone or something's mind. This is the Inception spell.
Yep.
So someone took the plot of Inception and like, oh, let's just make that a spell. Again, lack of specificity as far as outcomes and potential options. It would be interesting to run like a one shot of someone cast this, and now you're all in this creature's mind, and you have to inception him to do something. But again, it doesn't specify like getting out or any of that. So, I reached 9th level. I'm just gonna, teleport my physical body into someone's metaphysical mind, and I'll live in there forever.
Oh, that would cause some interesting things.
This one's a solid thumbs down. Wait, duration 1 round?
Yeah,
Why is it just 1 round?
I didn't get that
What?
either.
What? You're wasting a 9th level spell. Okay, that changes everything. It takes an hour and it lasts 1 round. I think they got that reversed probably. You have to concentrate on it for a round after waiting to cast it for an hour. This isn't a 9th level spell. This is like a -2 level spell. You're spending an hour doing nothing in combat to go into someone's mind for 6 seconds.
Think about what you could do with 6 seconds.
Like if you're using that to deal damage, you're not even damaging their physical body, unless they meant to say you teleport into someone's brain, in which case you're just like a projectile, but not projectile. You just materialized inside of their head and they're now dead. But at that point, why not just use power word kill?
It's true.
Casting time around.
I don't know. I think would physically transporting your body into somebody's mind, could that just be like a more creative power word kill? It's just like,
yeah, but with a casting time of 1 hour,
you become miniature Ant-Man and teleport into their head and then pop. Yeah, it's
you just happen to teleport into where their childhood is. Just stab.
That selective memory gone.
Not seeing this as useful.
Interesting ideas, just not all that well executed. All right.
Ooh, we got a class.
Ooh.
No, we got a spell.
Yes, sir. 4th level.
It's called Zip. 4th level, range 60-foot, area. Range / area. Oh, I assume it's the range. Duration 1 minute, casting time 1 action, verbal semantic, tool of conjuration. Point a finger at a medium or smaller creature then point toward another person or object in range. The creature must make a dexterity saving throw or be flung at the object. Ooh, I like it so far. On a failed save, the creature is pulled and takes 5d10 bludgeoning damage if the object is heavier than the creature, i.e., a building, wall, etc. The creature is pulled towards it, but if the object is lighter than the creature, i.e., rock, pin, etc., the object is flung at the creature. For each level higher than 4th, it deals an extra 1d10 damage. Okay, not bad. I like it. I like the flavor. I like how this plays out in my mind. It's essentially Catapult, but with people. 5d10's not that much damage either. It's a really great battlefield control, though.
Yep. It would probably give this to one of my players, but make it so it had components that they had to get, not so that they couldn't use this all the time. If they happen to come across or be able to purchase some, you can use it every once in a while. Not something that's every time they take a long.
But it's already a 4th level spell. I'm going to fight you on that, man. Because think about Fireball. How much damage that does in comparison to this. This you have to have some creative play because you do have to tether it to an object at least. Yeah. It's not like you can yeet them 60 feet. Well, okay. Best case scenario. Let's attack it from that. Best case scenario, you are zipping them up 60 feet into the air. They're taking 60 feet fall damage because of this. That's 6d6 damage. Still less than Fireball, which is, for a 4th level spell, it's very fun, and I don't see a real downside. I would let one of my players have this.
Yeah.
It's a solid... Oh yeah, and we didn't read who it is by. This is by Roy Spriest, RoySPREIST.
Thank you, Roy Spriest.
This one's got thumbs up from me. Both of them. It seems to be fairly well balanced. I know you can abuse like moving a character on a failed save
off a cliff.
If your DM knows you have this, they should be able to overcome.
True.
And it's fun. I have no issues with this spell, and it looks super fun. I am definitely going to save this for later.
All right. Maybe we'll have to come back for a D&D story time. It's the effects that this has on your game.
I mean, most of my games aren't up to like 4th level spells, so we'll see.
Right, we have our last homebrew. The author was Gothok. Anti-magic knights fight using the power of anti-magic. Anti-magic is an energy that is capable of nullifying other forms of magic. Anti-magic naturally opposes any mana and magic, so only someone with any magic power can wield it. Therefore, anti-magic knights cannot use magic. However, they gain benefits of magically imbued items such as healing potions and enchanted items. Shield bypass. At the 2nd level, your attacks ignore magically increased AC levels from spellcasting. The anti-magic knight's weapon ignores the temporary AC increases such as shield, shield of faith, and mage armor.
Pause for a second. At 2nd level?
Yes, at 2nd level.
Fighters get their subclass at 3rd level. What?
Apparently, this fighter starts out their class at 1st level. Maybe this was originally supposed to be a paladin.
I'm assuming so, just based on the fact that it got subclass at 2nd. Anyway, onward.
Knight's Order. When you reach 3rd level, you follow an order that binds you as an anti-magic knight forever. Oh, that could be like more of a paladin type thing too, if you wanted to switch it up. Up to this point, you have been following the path to be an anti-magic knight. Okay, so that answers it. You're an initiate. Becoming an anti-magic knight involved a rigorous training that helps further enhance strength, speed, durability, and hone your natural instincts. The anti-magic knights are a group of warriors that specialize in a combat with anti-magic weapons. When the user reaches 3rd level, he or she chooses an order to follow, developing their skills. Now, You choose the order of the Slayer, the order of the Dweller, or the order of the Destroyer. All the details are at the end of the class description.
Seems like it should be a paladin. And I'm just going to go back to shield bypass for a second. That is pretty darn strong to give a second level character be able to just undo shield and shield of faith. It's not going to come up a ton in most games, but still pretty solid. Okay, Elf Life. Let's move on.
Starting at 3rd level, you can use your reaction to slice the spell when you are hit by a ranged spell attack. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your strength modifier plus your anti-magic knight level. If you reduce the damage to 0, you can reflect the spell and make a ranged spell attack with the reflected spell. You make this attack with proficiency using your strength bonus as your spell attack modifier. Range of this attack is the same as described by the initial spell, used up to a maximum of 120 feet.
What? What? Batter up.
Basically, just shoot a fireball at me. I'll shoot it back.
That is ridiculous. Those
That's at 3rd level.
Yeah, and rogues who get uncanny dodge don't get that until 5th, which is saying something. And being able to at 3rd level just be like, nope, I'm gonna cut your spell and it does a lot less damage, and it's a ranged spell attack, and then being able to reflect, oh, you're gonna hit me with Eldritch Blast? Nope. I'm gonna just reduce the damage by 1d10 plus strength plus anti-magic knight level. That's way broken. Yeah.
If the person has a strength of +5, that is a 1d10 plus 5, and at this point they're at 3rd level. So that is
8. Yep.
If you roll max, you get a max of 18 damage reduced.
Every turn, you could reaction reflect an Eldritch Blast if you wanted, which is a 0 level spell. Right from the get go, we are in the territory of nope, not letting it in my games ever.
We've got anti-magic reactions. They kind of mixed up the order. It's supposed to be the 7th level, but it's actually from the 3rd to 9th. So anti-magic reactions. At 9th level, your ability to dodge magic attacks has improved greatly. You gain advantage against spell saves. At this point, I don't even know if you need to save against spells, because you can just slice them.
So that's not bad as a class feature for 9th level. And the 3rd level thing is ridiculous in no way, but as a 9th level, giving advantage on spell saves, that's not too bad. I mean, that's magic resist, basically. So
I feel like if this is supposed to be the anti-magic class of the anti-magic knight order, I feel like that should be something that's more of a starting feature, and the stuff that he puts right at the beginning would be like the crazy level 20, but I guess we'll see what keeps happening. Improved perception. Starting at 7th level, your level of perception has improved dramatically. This is due to anti-magic weapons' special properties. Doesn't say what the properties are. It's just due to them. Gain advantage on perception checks. Okay, cool.
Yeah. The 7th and 9th level features are sure. I'd let you have that as a class feature. The 3rd level thing, thus far that's the most ridiculous thing.
Magical interference. At 10th level, when you damage a creature that is concentrating on a spell, that creature has disadvantage on the saving throw it makes to maintain its concentration.
I mean, that's the Mage Slayer feat. So, as a 10th level feature, that's not bad. Again, I feel like they're crisscrossing what you would get and the levels that you would gain actual class features. Because if they got something So, martial archetype bonuses, you get them at 7th level, then you don't get it again until 10th. I don't know. Well, no, 7th and 10th. So it's weird that they're also giving you something in between levels. So that's why, again, I think this person may have been flipping back and forth between paladin and fighter, and just decided, oh, oops, I need to give them this and this and this, and then just typed in random number values instead of looking what's in the class.
I guess you get 2 different features at 10th level because they have magical interference, and then they also have enhanced durability. Starting at 10th level, you gain a high durability. Your constitution score is increased by 2. Your maximum score is now 22. Like a class feature that updates one of your scores. I think that's cool. Yeah.
This is like a double dip into what you're getting at 8th level, though, which is ability score improvement / feat. This is giving you an ability score improvement and effectively a feat.
Devastating blows. At 15th level, your attacks score a critical on a roll of 19 or 20.
I mean, that's fine for a 15th level feature.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's basically what champion does, and that's at level 3 for a champion. So
Yeah.
that, if it were its own thing, I'd allow. But let's look at the ridiculousness that is the other feature.
Yeah, that you also get at 15th level, anti-magic overflow. You learn to channel anti-magic energy through your body and attain a form where their anti-magic courses through and covers parts of your body. This form is drawn to strong magic and greatly increases the user's strength, speed, and while it improves their focus and clarity of mind. As a bonus action, you can overflow your body with anti-magic. Temporarily, your strength checks are rolled with advantage, and your speed increases by 10 feet and allows you to sense any magic users, even if invisible, up to 120 feet. Once this feature is used, you must take a short rest before you can use it again.
It doesn't specify the duration on that, though. It just says temporarily. It doesn't say 1 round, 2 rounds.
Yeah, the DM would have to. Your DM would have to make a call on that if they would ever even let you walk into a room with this.
Again, I think this would be like a paladin, and have this be one of your channel divinity things that you can do. Is that so? I feel like this was written for a paladin, and then the person flip flopped and ended up copy pasting other stuff.
And the 20th level is just improved anti-magic overflow. 20th level, you can use the anti-magic overflow feature 3 times before you must take a short rest to use it again.
So they give you like the most broken thing at level 3 to be able to just, there goes your spell, and here, have it back. I mean, that's near missiles, but at a lower level and for magic.
I like the concept. Maybe just make it so if that was like the core feature, make it really simple and maybe not as powerful at the beginning. And as you level up, it becomes more crazy. Till then, maybe you're at level 20 and you can do something like that.
So yeah, I could see making Spell Slice a fixed pool and being able to do like a D8 maybe plus your ability modifier. That I could see giving you, like, the Battle Master die. They don't have infinite number of those. And being able to use something on a reaction is so strong that giving it to them without setting up like the Battle Master's 3 dice that they get, that would just be too crazy.
Yeah.
And like monks with their key points, you expend key points to do missile snare. So I would see, if you're trying to make this something I could work with you on to get this into one of my games, set a fixed pool on that, make it your level or half your level for a point. And then, again, reduce that D10 to like a D8. Fine with you keeping your strength modifier. Probably, what else? The range reflecting's not bad.
Yeah.
On a
Maybe
reaction.
knock down that range a bit.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that you could do is just wait for that to be a 7th level feature, and then give them, or the other thing to do would be like make it proficiency bonus times per long rest.
Yeah, that'd be a good way to do it too.
And at 20th level, you're going to get 6, and then when you're up to like 5th level, that's 3. Which again, I mean, that's basically half level rounded down at that point, or rounded up.
Yep.
Like, yeah, this is a okay damage rolled lightning bolt that you could just reflect, basically. Or it's gonna drive me nuts.
That's Scorching Ray.
Scorching Ray. Yeah, this is reflecting back Scorching Ray consistently, basically. So nerf it a bit, then potentially I'd allow it. The other thing is where it's double dipping and giving you multiple things per level. A lot of them are just really out there. Like magic resistance outright is really strong for 10th level. I definitely wouldn't give you an and increase to your constitution score. That is crazy and never going to happen. If it's both, I mean, magic resistance on its own is really strong. And where you're already able to do that without like extending a reaction or something, really crazy good. I would even say, hey, bump that to the level 15, and then the powerful crits bump that down because magic resist is just so strong. But I mean, 10th level, I could see it.
I would just say for me, if you are truly going to be an anti-magic knight, and that is really what you're basing it around, less about the offensive, but more about just what you're negating, it does make more sense to have that magic resistance be lower on the list so that you get it sooner, because then that makes you actually better at being, well, anti-magic. I think I just want to mash my hand right through that computer screen with how many times I had to read anti-magic.
Yeah, and it's also weird that like at 7th level you just get perception advantage on perception checks. I could see bumping down the magic resistance to 7th level feature even. Yep. Because that 7th level feature is just okay. And a lot of things can grant you advantage on your check. The help action. One of your party takes the help action, you get advantage on your perception check. And where that's going to come in to play most is in those social and role-playing situations. So I don't know why that's even in there thematically as an anti-magic thing, because I know like when you were reading through it, it's the special properties. I have no idea what made them give that to that as a special property.
Special properties. Super special.
So on this one, I'm not going to give solid thumbs down. It's with tweaks. I like what it was trying to do, and with tweaks, I could see potentially using this in one of my games. But I'd want to make sure that I'm running a high magic campaign. Because the other thing that you also have to consider is how often are your players actually going to be rolling up against spellcasters? Because yes, the ability to reflect those back, it feels great when it comes up. But the other thing that could happen is it doesn't come up that often because you don't use spellcasters a ton in your game. So you need to be really clear with the player that's wanting to roll this. Hey, I'm going to reduce this if I'm going to let you do it, but I am going to be throwing a fair number of casters against you.
So that you're not left out to dry.
Right. Because
situational, depending on your DM, I'd give it a double thumbs up on the concept side of things. Probably lots of good ideas. I really like the idea of almost like the abjuration paladin that they're going through. There's that martial guy that just cuts back against spellcasters, but probably a little bit more of refining between player and DM to make it really work at a table. Thank you guys for watching BREADBOX. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. Share with your friends. Create better homebrew. I'm Serious Sandy Shortbread.
Yeah, definitely tell us what you disagree with, because I'm sure there are things that you may have liked and we did not, or we reviewed too harshly or not harshly enough.
Leave some suggestions down below of what we should review next.